Hi, and welcome to Hanging with Becky. I'm Becky Deanna, and every week I hang out with one of my amazing friends to talk about the latest movie release. Then comes the really fun part. I create a custom Becky challenge to test just how well they know something they're passionate about. I've spent more than 25 years as a movie studio marketing executive and a lifetime as a film fanatic. This show is all about celebrating the movies playing in theaters and introducing you to some of the incredible people I'm lucky enough to call my friends, one conversation at a time. This week, we're talking Odyssey, and I couldn't be happier to welcome one of my favorite people to talk movies with, Jon Laubinger. Jon is a podcaster, trivia expert, and one of the smartest movie lovers I know. Long before we ever worked together, I was a huge fan of Jon's podcast, Film Baby Film, where he invited me on to discuss some of my favorite Ingmar Bergman films, including Winter Light, Shame, The Seventh Seal, and The Passion of Anna. Later, my friend Dave Eves and I joined Jon to celebrate three of Bergman's music-themed films on his show, Two Joy, The Magic Flute, and Autumn Sonata. Honestly, some of my best podcast appearances I've ever done were on Jon's show. He has this incredible ability to make me think harder, laugh more, and somehow become a better version of myself every time we record with each other. That chemistry is exactly why I asked Jon to co-host Director's Take, a Sony Pictures podcast with me last year, which can be found wherever you get your podcasts. Outside of podcasting, Jon is also an incredible trivia player. He's competed on The Chase and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And I know one of his lifelong dreams is to compete on Jeopardy! Today, we're both fresh from seeing Odyssey in glorious 70mm IMAX for me at the TLC Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And Jon just saw it like an hour ago in New York in Dolby, but he will be seeing it in 70mm IMAX very soon. We had such a fun conversation talking about Odyssey, getting into like what our Letterboxd reviews were, the things that worked for us, what didn't. We had an epic challenge called Final Jeopardy! That was really fun too. So I can't wait for you to get to this conversation. It was super cool to have Jon back and to reunite with him. So now, here's Jon Laubinger. Hi, Jon. Welcome to Hanging with Becky.
Hey, Becky. How are you?
I'm so good. I am so excited to have you on my show. As I said in the intro, Jon is my favorite podcaster, and I couldn't wait for you to be on my actual new podcast, Hanging with Becky, so we could, talk movies again. It's been a while.
It's awesome. Yeah, you've been so nice to me and about me. And you often say, you're like, Jon's my favorite podcaster. You never say I'm the best podcaster because I know the people that you know, and I know that I'm not the best podcaster. So being your favorite is like the highest achievement that I have any possibility of ever getting. So thank you.
I think it's funny that you think that those are mutually exclusive. I think you're the best podcaster. Well, my favorite means the best. Why would I have a favorite that's not the best? I think you're the best. I think in general, I have said that over the years a lot because I think personally, you bring out the best in me. I have every single one of my best podcast appearances in the history of my podcasting has been with you on your show or on Director's Take. So I just think you always make me laugh, and I always think you ask the best questions. It's so funny to actually turn the tables on you because I usually am on your podcast and you're driving the train, and now it's the opposite. So I don't know if it'll be how that dynamic will work.
No, that's so kind of you. Yeah, we've gotten to have a lot of amazing conversations together. I was obviously kidding, but basically I got into podcasting because I'm a fan of yours and have been a fan of yours. And I got into a podcasting because many of our mutual friends, like I'm fans of them, right? Like James on Wrong Reel. I was obsessed with Wrong Reel. I still am. Mm-hmm. But like
I still am too.
Yeah. And so all I wanted to do, it wasn't even that I just loved listening to you guys. And it wasn't even that I wanted to become like famous or make a career out of it but I wanted to talk to you guys. And so it's like, I need to go on this podcast so I can talk to James or I can talk to Becky or Dave Eves or whatever. And it's been so cool to get to, I've worked with you. Like not only have we podcasted together, we have been in like a successful, sponsored by a major studio podcast where we, spoke with real deal directors.
I know, including Betty Safdie, who's in this movie, Odyssey, which is so crazy. It's so funny. I'm like, oh my God, we actually, that was one of our best episodes ever. We just hung out with Benny Safdie for like an hour, and he was so fun. And he said the kindest thing at the end of our episode with him for Director's Take, the podcast I did with John. We interview directors, and we let them pick a film from the Sony Pictures catalog that they love. And so he picked Punch Drunk Love, and he gushed about it for an hour, and we just all, hung out with him. And it was great because like I said, he said one of the kindest things at the end of the episode. He said that it was like a book club, and that we made his morning, and it was so fun. That was just a great time, and we had such fun together. And we were on a set together on the Sony Pictures lot once, where we had the teleprompter. We had to do all these like a million intros.
Oh, it was amazing, and we got to talk to Nia DaCosta. And on top of that, I got to work with. I've podcasted with you before we did our podcast together. Yeah. Before we did Director's Take, but it was the first time I'd worked with other producers. And so working with Joe and Dan and Rob and these people who they just treated, I assume it's the same for you, but they treated me like I was royalty. And I was like, you guys have no idea. I'm totally unqualified for this. And you're treating me like I'm creative. And Joe and Dan in particular, it was like with the two of them, working with them made me want to be a better husband, a better manager. Like they treated me so well. I always get a little emotional just thinking about everything that Joe and Dan did for us. And Rob is like a brother. So I know Rob was amazing too. It was good times. It's so funny because I've never talked about this story on my show, but it's so embarrassing. But when I think it was the Eli Roth or the Amy Heckerling episode. I think it might have been the Eli Roth one where there was a whole disaster where since John is in New York City and I'm in LA, they wanted us to look like we were in the same room. So we had to do profiles. So we couldn't do front recording. They wanted us to do it like this. And so I am very broken and I wanted my... Oh, so you're really telling this story. You're not whitewashing it. You're going into it. Oh no, I'm telling the story. I never intended on it, but who cares? Because this is my podcast and I'm very honest with my listeners. So I will tell the story. And it just shows how amazing Dan and Joe are. So like I said, I'm broken. So I feel like I have a side, which is the left side. It's not like the best side. I wish it was a great side, but I'm really not a big fan of this side of my face. I don't know. There are people out there that have sides, and I'm one of them. Anyway, I was like, I need to have my left side, and they're like, no problem. And then they went to John's apartment and realized that he didn't have a wall on one side of his room. So in order to make it look like we're in the same room. So they just sent me a message. They said, hey, so sorry, but we're gonna have to do it on John's other side. And I freaked out. I was so sad. And I cried. And I didn't throw a fit or anything, but I was just so brokenhearted about it. And John's like, don't worry, they'll fix it. I don't think they're gonna fix it. And I'm gonna have to the worst part of me, I'm gonna have to look at it all day and it's gonna make me cry. And I was so brokenhearted about it. Anyway, this all happened in a 24-hour period, and Dan flew to New York to produce with you. And then all of a sudden I get this message an hour before we record, and Joe came into the studio in LA and they were all fixing, and they said, oh, we're gonna record B camera or something. And I'm like, well, wait, what does that mean? And then I realized I was getting the side I wanted. And I asked, and then found out that they created a wall, and they wheeled a wall into your apartment. They created a wall and just so I could get the side I wanted. And that, to me, I was absolutely floored, because they were just like, we have to figure this out. Becky is very unhappy, and we want to make, have her be on her best, on her A game. So let's get her the side she wants. But the fact that they worked with Jeremy Workhouse's company to
create a fake wall and wheel it into your apartment. And it was a total nightmare for you just so I get this right side made me feel like, oh my gosh, they really value me. And I also was like, I'm so not a diva. I never asked them to do that, but it made me feel really valued. And also it was eye-opening for me because, I'm insecure, and I think a lot of people are insecure. And, it was one of the nicest things anyone's ever done for me.
Dan practically moved into my house for a couple of days. So wait, we need to back up. So I'd heard of like, I have a side, that's my good side. I'd heard that phrase before, but I got married in 2020 and I have never taken a photograph on, there's a particular side that my wife had. I've never taken a photograph on the other side.
Yeah.
She doesn't even like me walking down the street with her on the wrong side.
Oh.
So I had no clue, but as soon as you mentioned it, because like I said, I've been married for a while now, I knew exactly what you're referring to, and I knew exactly how serious it was. So, but Dan flew across country, spent like 2 days living in my house. My wife came home, and they had built a false wall. So, by the way, I do not live in like the suburbs. I live in the Upper East Side, in small ass apartments. This apartment's actually bigger. We moved since that episode, and this apartment's a little bit bigger than that. But like, it doesn't matter. Nobody lives in a big apartment in the Upper East Side. And so he was like, "Oh, is there a room where you could?" No, there's no room to do anything. I live in a small ass apartment in New York City, dude. Like, and so he moved in for a couple of days. The second day when he revealed to me that we were going to build a false wall while my wife was at work, he brought over bagels from my favorite bagel place, and he brought treats for my dog Peanut. My dog Peanut hates everybody and loved Daniel, Dan so much.
Yeah.
Kelly came home and saw the false wall, and she was not in a good mood because there had just been like a lot of stressful things going on over there.
Yeah.
She started crying. Dan went out and like comforted her.
Oh.
He is a better husband to my wife than I am. Like, Dan is the best.
It's so funny because I'm the same way with my side. Like whenever I take photos, I don't like have to have somebody walk on one side of the street for me, but I wish I had a good side. I actually don't have a good side, but at least this side, my face, I prefer than that side. But, so if I can, almost all my photos, I prefer to have it on the certain side of my face too. Anyway, it's just funny because I remember they didn't tell me though. I wish they had told me hours before. You knew hours before I did that they were doing this wall because I was so upset and so sad about it. But it was really funny because I found out about it and John, I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. And John texted me at the studio out like minutes before we were recording. And he said, they built an effing fort in my house.
We have to share the pictures of what the inside of my house. Yeah, they treated us like rock stars, and we got to talk to some of the most interesting movie people, and it was like a total dream come true. And it was a dream that you made come true. Totally. You put years and years of effort into it, and I was just the lucky guy that happened to, like, totally the story of every male in America. I was just lucky to be there, and I got drafted, and I was in the right place at the right time. And it was a dream come true. I mean, thank you so much.
Of course. I didn't want to do it without you. And when we had an opportunity to do this, I'm like, well, I want John. And they never questioned it. They said, we don't know who John is, but if you want John, you can have John. And then they didn't realize you weren't in LA. And I'm like, let's figure it out. And they made it work. And we made magic together for a bunch of episodes. We got to talk to Zach Kreger and Amy
Nia
Heckerling and Nia DaCosta, who's a visionary. Nia DaCosta,
who made our favorite, one of my top two movies of the year.
Yeah.
And your favorite movie of the year so far, I think. We'll find out after we talk about this. But we got to do so much. But yeah, exactly. I walked in and they're like, who are you? I'm like, hi, I'm John. I'm a Leo Cancer cusp. I work in insurance.
So funny. All right. Well, I'm sure some people are tuning in and they're like, hey, let's like see what they think of Odyssey. And I'm like, and not talk for 12 minutes about Becky's good side.
We got stuff to talk about the Odyssey. I got books. I got props. I got a Greek to English translation. God. I got this is the one that everybody has, the Bernard Knox version.
So
I'm ready to talk Odyssey.
Let's get into, I actually have no background in the epic poem. Actually, I didn't have to read it in high school.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Did you read the Iliad in high school?
No.
Sophocles. You must have read like Sophocles or one of the plays from.
No, I went to Starfleet Academy, so we had to.
But wait, but there definitely are Greek references and Roman references like galore in Star Trek. So, anyways, yeah.
No, we focused on like Catcher in the Rye and I don't know, American literature. I don't know. I know. I don't remember. I read. There's the important works, Shakespeare and things like that, but we never read Greek mythology. I just think none of my English teachers were interested. And then, but anyway, you currently have, and I know you're just a history buff, and we will have an amazing Becky challenge. I think it might be our hardest Becky challenge to date, but we'll see. But tell me about your experience with with just before this movie, you saw this movie and just the epic poem and what your experience is with it.
Yeah, of course. So that's actually really funny. So that's not the reason why I picked this episode, was to talk about like my long history with Greek myth or anything like that. But so just like Julia, who has like a lifelong commitment to Stephen King and the work of Stephen King, which, by the way, Julie and I both got into Stephen King the same exact, well, not exactly the same exact way. I punched Adam Lipper in the mouth in the 5th grade when I was 11 years old. And I went to detention and they had a copy of Pet Sematary. And so I was in suspension, not detention. I was in suspension for like 3 or 4 days. And all I did was read Pet Sematary, a totally age inappropriate book. I have no idea how I was in the suspension space that I was in. And I was completely hooked. But the thing is that well before Stephen King, my original drug of choice, 2nd grade, I snuck into a library. This is totally true. It's going to make it sound like I was a juvenile delinquent. I snuck into a library and I stole a Greek myth book. Like our school library, I stole a Greek myth book, one that had graphics, like almost like a, I don't know if it's Dallaire's, like the famous version. I don't know if it was that one. Maybe I read that later. But I was as hooked to Greek myth when I was in the 2nd, 3rd grade as any young 6 or 7-year-old could be addicted to anything. Dinosaurs, fire trucks, outer space. Like that was my jam. And so I read Greek myth and then Norse myth and then Egyptian myth. And then it was a direct transition over to like Dracula, Frankenstein, and then ultimately Stephen King. So Greek myth is like in my bloodstream as like one of my original addictions in terms of pop culture, in terms of
I love this. That's why you're the perfect person for this episode. And this, I want it to bring on my amazing friends each week, and I want it to wait to have Jon on for the perfect movie. But I thought, because you have experience with loving mythology and all of this, I thought you were perfect for it. Plus, it's like, I think it's a perfect time to introduce you to everybody who maybe doesn't know you yet. But that's great. And then, so were you excited about this movie?
I was excited about the movie. I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. He's not on my Mount Rushmore or anything. He isn't my go-to director, but I really enjoyed Oppenheimer. Dark Knight, when Dark Knight came out, it was transformative for me. It was so subtly political, but like really topical, but not being too topical. And then on top of that, it was an exciting, fun movie to see in the movie theater. I wasn't expecting anything like it. I don't think anybody was expecting anything like it. I'm in the pro Inception camp. Love Inception. Seen it many times. Big fan. I find it very emotionally engaging. And Interstellar is something I've only come to recently. I originally hated it. I thought it was turgid. I thought it was too large. I thought it was. I think as Nolan has become more. Nolan has more of a free hand. I think he's a little bit. Sometimes I wonder if he could get like a new editor, somebody who isn't related to him, to like edit some of the exposition in his movies down.
Yeah.
More recently, but but he's taking such mythic swings. Like he's taking such epic swings for these massive movies, and they put butts in seats. I celebrate every Christopher Nolan movie as like a film that is being delivered and I feel like he's almost single-handedly saving cinema. That sounds like really dramatic, but I don't think I'm alone. Like if you read the news recently, the business side of it, like this is the best year since 2019 for cinema going in terms of box office grosses. And I think genuinely with Oppenheimer and now this, I feel like Nolan's doing his part almost more than anybody to keep authentic filmmaking alive.
Yeah, and he's very much a teacher in a way of just like the people that really love him. The fact that he's a proponent of the theatrical experience of seeing something in a movie theater of 70 millimeter, 35 millimeter. Like he is very much wants the best experience we can have to watch a film. He recorded this film with IMAX cameras. And so I think a lot of people that are interested in film have learned a lot from him, just like over of his interviews and things. And a lot of people have learned about filmmaking through him and all the stuff that he's done. He's not like particularly like one of my guys, like somebody who is on my Mount Rushmore either. I really love Christopher Nolan. It's kind of interesting because I think Christopher Nolan, he's sort of been missed for me for a while. Most of his first films are the ones that I've loved the most, like Memento. I'm more of a Batman Begins girl than Dark Knight. I know everyone loves Dark Knight, but I really, really love Batman Begins. I'm another one that loved Inception. I love Prestige, Insomnia. I was one of those people who hated Interstellar, and I actually never revisited it. And I know it got re-released, I think a few years ago, and it was everywhere. Everybody was like freaking out and seeing it multiple times. And I wish I had done that because I know a lot of people who have revisited, like you, who have said that they love it now or like they appreciate it more. So it's definitely a film that I know I need to come and see and really see if I change my mind on. When I first saw it, I kind of hated it. I didn't like Dunkirk.
Dunkirk's not good. Dunkirk is a snooze fest.
Yeah, I thought it was so boring.
So boring.
I really didn't like Tenet. But Tenet was one of those films, which again, during the pandemic, he released it in theaters and drove people to go to the theater. Like I drove an hour and a half out of the way to a theater in like Orange County just to see it because it was right in the middle of the pandemic. And I think it was like months later. And I was like, rows apart from people just so I could see it. So I appreciate that it came out and I drove far away just to see it. I didn't love Oppenheimer either. But anyway, so I don't love a lot of the last few films he's done, but every film he does is an event. I was very excited about this film. And it was an event. The fact that they did for this movie a year ago on July 17th, 2025, you could buy tickets, pre-sale tickets a year in advance. That's unheard of. I remember some people were like, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And that's exactly what my friends and I did. I remember my friend Alex, who was the one that arranged, he bought 16 tickets at the Chinese theater, which is what we saw last night, exactly a year ago from yesterday. We knew when they were going on sale. My friend Shell and I were seeing Playtime in 70 millimeter at the Arrow, and we were going into a movie and knew the tickets were going to drop. And luckily, Alex loves the Chinese and he wants to buy the tickets. So we charged him to do it while we were actually watching a movie. We walked out of the theater and we got the text messages from Alex. I got the tickets. And so we knew we had 7:00 p.m. Friday, July 17, 2026, which a year, we're like, where are we going to be in a year from now? Are we going to be friends with each other a year from now? Like, where are we going to be in our lives? It was cool, but it was such a cool thing to be able to be like, we were one of those people that got it. And then they gave us, and forgot to bring it in. It's in the other room. I can't believe I forgot it, but I got a special like commemorative ticket because I bought the movie. We bought tickets a year ago. It was really cool. So I'll just put a picture on the Hanging with Becky page, but it was a big deal. And then the screenings have been sold out. A lot of people want to see it in 70 millimeter IMAX, which is what I did. How did you see it?
So first, I want to mention about the ticket acquisition and how this is an event. So my company, we probably have like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday people are in the office. They work from home Monday and Friday. Probably it's like a company of 85 people. I think 20 or 30 people are in the office on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I don't remember which day the AMC tickets came out recently, but there were like 4 or 5 people in my company trying to get tickets months ahead. That is not a frequent thing. I don't know that that'll happen again this year, right?
Yeah.
And so definitely has that. He breaks through the noise, and his films are still an event. People expect to go to the movie theater, almost to the point where in certain cities, like if you only go to one movie a year, it very well might be a Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
So I saw it at Dolby. I did buy 2 IMAX tickets here at Lincoln Center, AMC at Lincoln Center, which is, I think, the biggest IMAX in the world, or it's the biggest IMAX in the country. I can't remember which one it is, but it's amazing. And like we did the Olympics, we did the Paris Olympics opening ceremonies there, and the CEO of IMAX was sitting next to me.
Very cool.
So it's a big deal to get tickets there. They are sold out for weeks. I do have a couple of tickets to go see it, but we wanted to podcast today, so I had to get a 3rd ticket so that I could go see it today, and the only one that I could get was Dolby, which was still fantastic.
Yeah, it's so funny because I have multiple friends who have tickets to see it. Like I have a friend that I talked to who saw it Thursday, who had tickets, was going to see it as of Monday, will have seen it 4 times. Like he had tickets at the Chinese theater, at the AMC Universal, at downtown LA. So like he was even driving, I think, to Irvine Spectrum to see it somewhere else. So it's like, that's the thing. It's like to bought tickets multiple times to see it, already knowing you're going to see it 4 times. Is nuts. I think that's unheard of for certain film fans. They're like, oh, I already know I want to see this multiple times. Clearly you did. I did not. I had these tickets. I'm not going to see a movie again unless I really, really love it. Really, really love it. I may revisit this film again. I don't think I'm not in a rush to see it again. The big movie theater in LA that's not as the same as Lincoln Square AMC, but is the one that Christopher Nolan loves and is here, and it's Universal AMC near Universal Studios. That's like the biggest screen you could see it in here. That's the one that sold out for weeks. Chinese is also extraordinary place to see it too. And this film was shot entirely on IMAX 70 millimeter film cameras. But yeah, let's get into the movie. And I want to ask you, what did you like? I think we're going to just get right into, obviously John and I were talking about spoilers, and he's like, well, this epic poem's been out for how long? So, I don't know how much we could spoil about it, but there are things like certain characters and scenes we like, but I think there's so many people out there who've seen this movie. I'm assuming we're not listening unless you've seen it. So we're just going to get right into it. And I don't know how many crazy spoilers there'll be, but, I would say if you want to see the movie, maybe wait and come back to this after. So John, what are your opening thoughts or like initial thoughts on, you literally just saw it like an hour, like you finished it like an hour or 2 ago, right? You saw it this morning.
I've never podcasted about a movie that I've seen this recently for the first time.
And I saw it last night. But I mean, I've never I don't think I've ever walked out of a theater and podcast it either. I've done the night before, which is I did that with Evil Dead and this movie, and some of the other films I've done. But you literally just saw it a few hours ago. I actually think my takes may have been different last night versus this morning, and I will talk about why. Yeah. Well, it also has to do with my extraordinary friend who I was talking to after the movie, who's amazing. And he challenged me on some things, and I was like, yeah. So anyway, but I would love your initial thoughts.
Sure, of course. So Odyssey is obviously based off of it's actually, so first of all, the name is a misnomer because people are expecting a pure Odyssey film. That's not what this is. It also includes much of the Iliad. It also includes snippets of the Oresteia, which is actually not even by Homer, it's by Aeschylus. The most ancient Greek playwright that we still have extant complete works from. So, so it's a doozy. It's like remember when Thin Red Line came out and like half of the movie is like, ooh, where is that? Like, where am I going to see a new star that I'm very familiar with or whatever?
I call Thin Red Line. I love Terrence Malick, but I call that movie The Thin Red Yawn. But I do love Terrence Malick. I love me some Malick. Just I don't love that film. But go ahead.
So absolutely packed with star talent, young and old. John Leguizamo, who I don't know if anybody picked up, I was name checking John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo was in the Criterion Closet, and he introduced himself. I'm John Leguizamo, Leo Cancer cusp. Although he's on the wrong side of the cusp, he's a July 22nd baby. I am on the right side of the cusp.
Do you know whose birthday is July 22nd?
Whose?
Albert Brooks.
I didn't know that.
I wonder why I know it. Just kidding. I haven't talked a lot about him, but he's my favorite, like one of my second favorite director in the whole world. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, John. So this is the origin story of what 25% of what is called Western civilization. Like this is, the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Oresteia. Like this is where it all started. And the most famous component of all this is the Trojan horse, which I think is where this. Oh no, the movie doesn't start there. Ooh, the movie starts with a guy tripping. And
inaudible dialogue for the first 5 minutes. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
The inaudible dialogue is exactly like Terrence Malick. So this is a good comparison.
Go ahead.
But like the Lotus Eaters stuff with Circe basically has him set up. So you want to make a direct connection to the Bone Temple. Psychedelic version, psychedelic interpretation of the story. So right away, one of the tricks Nolan's doing here is saying like you can interpret this literally, or you can interpret it figuratively, or guy's trip, or however you want to interpret it. I think he called it a time of apparent magic. So right off the bat, he's like setting you up for some of the good old time Nolan magic. And really, I mean, that's the thing that hit me pretty early on. This is an old timey film. Like this is an epic film where things are going to be filmed in the ocean. They filmed, I don't know if they actually filmed in Greece, but man, does it look like they filmed in Greece. It's almost like something out of Pasolini, like one of his, like Medea or whatever, where like he's actually filming Greece or Italian hills to look like it. And so every shot is absolutely
They did
gorgeous.
film in Greece. I wrote down, they filmed it in Morocco, Greece, Italy, Scotland, Iceland, Western Sahara, and Malta, as well as the Universal lot in LA.
So Nolan is clearly like, I want to make a movie where I can go to all the places I want to go on vacation on. So that's a smart move, Mr. Nolan.
I'm sure his cast was excited about that.
Yeah. But so that's one of the first things that's of real importance to me. I am a huge fan of shooting on location. Mm-hmm. I want to look at a film and I don't want to be thinking that's a green screen, which is one of my issues that I have with a good portion of the Marvel movies, particularly as it went on, is I have a limitation on how invested I can be on any sort of action once there's a noticeable green screen. And knowing that I'm there with the elements, like that fire is a real fire, like that, that brick that's falling down is real brick, or at least it appears to be. Enough of it is real that it was really tactile.
He's very much into practical effects, I feel.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So that becomes very apparent early on. And so just like the book, it's split between different journeys, the domestic front with Telemachus. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've always pronounced it Telemachus, but that's because I'm a rube that didn't pay attention in high school. So, but I think it's Telemachus, played by Holland, and he's the son. Anne Hathaway, Penelope, the mother. So starts at home. Well, it doesn't start at home. It bounces around a lot, so I may not get the order right. But there's a home front. Telemachus needs to leave on his journey, and then immediately we're introduced to what is now Odysseus' journey, and we see a lot of what happened with the Trojan horse. We see a lot of what happened with the fall of Ilium, the fall of Troy, and sort of the impact that makes on him, and then the journey he's making back home to Ithaca with his men. Not everybody's going to make it. I'll put it that way. And all of the exciting mythical adventures that happen in between with the Cyclops, the Lotus
I love
Eaters.
this rundown. This is great.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's we do have to mention. So on the home front, Robert Pattinson and a bunch of other creepy suitors are there, and they all just are. In the book, it's kind of hard to really understand why the heck we should be so upset at these suitors, because they're all there because essentially they want to marry Penelope. Odysseus is assumed dead. He's been gone for 8 years. He's actually been gone for like 18 years because it was 10 years to fight the Trojan War. And then it was another 8 years at the time that the film starts before he gets back. And then I think there's still more time to go.
I like that additional detail. Yeah. Because then if you just look at it, you're like, oh, he was just trying to get back for 7 years. But you're right. That he's also been gone for the whole entirety of the war. He's
changed. His dog went from being a puppy to being, an age dog. Argos, shout out to a really strong dog performance. And Telemachus was a baby, is now a man. And then obviously like Penelope and Odysseus, they're two totally different people. It's been 20 years and Odysseus has seen a lot of stuff. And Penelope, like, she's been alone all this time, we assume. I think it's a pretty strong assumption to make. She's been alone all this time. And what does that do to somebody when everybody's trying to take your power? Everybody's trying to marry you against your will, like loneliness, etc. So it's, so we start right in the middle of things. Classic Christopher Nolan, multiple timelines, multiple ticking clocks. Yeah. But not as boring as Dunkirk.
No, not as boring as Dunkirk. So the one thing is the first 5 minutes of this movie, I feel like maybe it was longer, where I don't know what was going on with the sound mixing or what, but my friend Andrew leaned over to me and said, "Can you understand what they're saying?" And I said, "No." And I said, "No, classic Nolan." And then we both laughed because of Tenet and stuff. But I was like, what's happening? It's just it wasn't the theater. It's just, I just felt like it was kind of inaudible. It definitely picks up, and I wish I had subtitles, but we didn't have them. I figured out what was going on, and then you could understand much clearer later. I don't know what that was about. Why? Did you have that issue in the beginning where you're like, what's happening?
I think so. The version that Emily Wilson did an interview in the Financial Times where she said, and I actually know, I've read this other places too. So I think this is a part of the movie marketing where they base it off of her translation. So a very contemporary translation, sort of a impolite translation, like one that doesn't mince words with slave and with the treatment of women and all of that. And so it's very blunt, but it's written by Emily Wilson, and she's sort of younger. I think some people consider her to be more on the feminist side. So, but the point is I did get the sense that they were trying to keep some of the cadences from the actual works.
Okay.
I don't think they were doing like Romeo and Baz Luhrmann, Romeo and Juliet, where it's like line for line. Like I'm not suggesting that, but it did seem like when Nolan wrote it that he was trying to keep some of the formal, almost like archaic forms, even though he's using this more contemporary. Like I think he wanted it to sound a little bit like they were talking out of one of the translations of the work. That's my interpretation. It was a little hard to track, I think.
Yeah. But I think then it became clear, what did you, because there's certain sequences. So I'll just do overall, I'll mention overall what I thought of this movie. So I really enjoyed this film. I think I felt I was on sort of a high coming out that sort of has lessened since I've left the theater. However, let me try to think how to say this. I think I really enjoyed certain sequences in the film, especially the Samantha Morton sequence was my favorite sequence. We can get into that. And there's some other sequences that I really loved. I thought it kind of landed the plane at the end, which was cool. my friend turned to me and we're talking about it after, and I'm like, oh, I think it's not like my favorite film of the year. It's not going to make my top 10 list. It was a good movie and I really like it. And it was amazing seeing it in this epic theater with all these people. And a lot of my friends really loved it. It was very enjoyable. I did enjoy it. But I remember I turned to my friend and I said, I think I was talking to one of my friends and I said it was I think this might be Nolan's masterpiece. Like, I feel like stuff kind of really came together. I didn't think the whole movie came together, but most of it did. And then like what I was going to say is that afterwards, my friend Andrew, we see a lot of movies together, and like he always wants to talk to me about like what I thought of the movie and why I like it or why I didn't. He's just fascinated, how I think about films, but we just like to get through what we think about movies together. And he's like, well, my God, it was kind of stunning stuff. And then we were talking more about it, and he is just so amazing. So he challenges me and he's like, well, what exactly did you think was stunning? And I said, this. And then when I was talking about why I thought it was Nolan's masterpiece, I realized, well, wait, I don't really know if that's true, because Memento is my favorite film of his, and that's the film that I've seen the most. I can see that every day. I absolutely love Memento. I love Insomnia a lot. I love Inception and Prestige. Those are like my Nolan films. And then I think what I was thinking and why I think I immediately gravitated towards that whole, Nolan's masterpiece, is because of the fact that I've been let down by so many of the last 4 or 5 of his films that I was like, oh, this really came together for me. This is great. And I think in my brain turned it into, oh, this is like the best he's ever done. Like, just, whatever. It's very ambitious. This film is so ambitious and grand and majestic. And I loved the ending of it. I loved like the embers, the way they showed with the horse at the end with the embers. And I just thought it was a really immensely satisfying ending. But I think that was really clouded me of like, oh, I've been disappointed on so many of his films the last, decade, that I was like, oh, this must be his masterpiece. When my friend challenged me, I was like, oh, wait, I think I love these other films more. But that's just overall, like, I want to get into certain sequences. Did you love this movie, or were you disappointed, or what did you think?
So I think, and I hinted at this before, so I will probably give this 4 stars on Letterboxd. I haven't even had time to rate it on Letterboxd. Forget
me neither. And I saw it last night, and I still need to. And I'm actually going to give it 4 out of 5 as well. Go ahead.
I'm thinking 4. I'm pleased as punch that I was in a packed movie theater to watch a faithful, it's not totally faithful, but a faithful enough adaptation of a story that has been around for 3,200 years, I think. Like, this is amazing. I love it. It was so tactile, so beautiful. I thought the performances were pretty good. I was caught up in the movie. I was like, this is my dreams as a child coming true on screen. I'm so happy to be here. And then as it went on, I thought to myself, this guy needs an editor. Like, there needs to be there. So I want to contrast this with another movie that's much more loosely based off of a classical Greek work, The Warriors. I watched The Warriors twice getting ready for this episode, just thinking about some Greek-inspired Greek myth or Greek history inspired films that I could watch. So I watched Jason and the Argonauts, which I'd seen as a kid, and I watched The Warriors. I actually watched The Warriors a couple of times. It's lean, it's tight. The political aspect of it is like very interesting, but it's very subtle. There's a lot of subtext. And I heard the commentary. The guy said there's a director's version of The Warriors, which has a lot more explanation and a lot more explicit connection to Greek history. And he said it's a worse movie because once you remove the subtext, all you have is text. And there was a certain point where like Nolan was so lean and sparse, and I'm like, this is so epic, and I'm on the waves with these guys, and I'm in the desert, like I'm being transformed into whatever. I don't want to. I'm being transformed into a pig. If you don't know this by now, like I said, you need to go back to high school. But like by the end, I'm like, man, I really don't need these people to explain to me the themes of the film any longer. Like this needs to sort of like keep the pace going, guys. And Yeah, so he lost me a little bit at the end, even though there were components of it where he could have totally stuck the landing. I thought I needed Matt Damon and Robert Pattinson and like all these people to talk a little bit less, explaining to me what they're thinking and doing.
It's funny because I think the ending, I really enjoyed the ending. I thought it was immensely satisfying. And I think that's what made me like the movie more than I think I was at some point. This movie was a marvel. I actually thought during the movie, and this may happen, I felt like there were periods of the movie where I thought there may be people, teenagers, someone in their early 20s, seeing this movie, and this might be a movie that like changes their life because it's like of the event status, of the epicness. The sound was great in the theater, the immersive theatrical experience, the cinematography. It's a very ambitious film, and I could see someone being like floored by the wholeness of it. And it may be changing their lives of like, oh, I want to seek out more of this director, or like if they didn't know him as much, or just like maybe somebody in their early teens or something. I don't know. That is like, this movie could change your life, which was cool. Kind of like how T2 changed mine. It's funny though, I was thinking, because I feel like my friends are always teasing me, I put Terminator 2 in all the episodes, but I just recently did a breakdown of Terminator 2 from the whole, on Film 99, from the beginning to the very end. I've never done that where I've gone through the whole film. And I've been really versed and like steeped in Terminator 2, more so than normal. I actually saw it 4 times in the last month or so because it was re-released and I saw it in all different formats. That film is perfect from beginning to end. And when I think about that movie and I think about this movie and like the response it's getting, I just because it's, and obviously I guess in one way, I don't know if it's fair because it's my favorite movie, but I think objectively that movie is flawless. Like it's perfect. And like, then I look at this movie and I'm like, well, if you compare it to those, they're not even in the same universe. But this film is, like I said, very ambitious and very cool. But I think when I look at, well, let's compare it to like the great science fiction or action adventure or Sword and Sandals, does it stack up? And maybe not so much. And I don't know if it will throughout time, but it's a very ambitious film. For me, my favorite scene, the part that I was like, stood up, was locked in, I'm in, was the Samantha Morton scene. She plays a witch and a goddess. Cersei, is that her name? Yeah. So that scene, I think for me, it wasn't even like her character initially, it was Samantha Morton. I have a soft spot for Samantha Morton. I absolutely loved her in Woody Allen's 1999 film, Sweet and Lowdown. It's one of my favorite films ever. Her performance is just transcendent. And she plays this Hattie, this mute, and I just love her. I just melt when I see her. And as soon as she came on, she's so multi-talented, and she was so great as this witch. You believe that she wants to help them, and then and it's just like so crazy, the practical effects of how she transforms these soldiers. It's a really mesmerizing, effing amazing scene. Like I love this scene, and this scene is my favorite of the film. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I got locked in the beginning because of Samantha Morton, who she is. But I just think she should be nominated for this scene because alone she's so great. And this scene I think is the like crowning achievement of this film for me. I love this scene. Did you like this scene?
I did like the scene. I thought she was very good. By the way, I always confuse her with Emily Watson, like embarrassingly so. To the point where I was writing in my notes, I'm like, Emily Watson. I'm like, I don't think that's right.
No.
I remember, of course, she was in Minority Report, right? Like she was one of the.
Yeah, she was.
So yes, I did like the scene. My favorite scene was the underworld scene.
Which is the Hades scene? Yeah.
The Hades scene, which is in the epic poem.
Okay.
It's different because there are components of this movie that Nolan puts in for very pointed political reasons, which I loved for 3/4 of the movie. But then towards the end, when he it's like, batting me over my head with, and I'm like, man, I can agree with you and still not want to be like told this over and over again.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I loved Elliot Page in that. I love just the look of it, the black beach sand. It's just, and they're consuming blood, which is true to the poem, that they couldn't speak until they had consumed the blood. And it's just that was eerie. It was haunting. It was beautiful. That was great movie making.
Yeah. It's funny. The three things that I liked the most about this film were focused on performances, because that's what I really gravitate to, I think, in general, is a great performance and a great like story sequence. The other one that I really loved is Charlize Theron is another one where she is just magnetic. I think she is luminous and like just distractingly beautiful. Sometimes she's stunning. In this scene, she plays Calypso. It's very interesting because it's very Obsession like the movie Obsession, and that she has Matt Damon under her spell, and that she is not allowing him to remember. She's like telling him we're happy, like instead of allowing him to. She's taken away his free will so that he can remember his past and know that he has a love and that he wants to get back to it, and just allowing him to be. And at least in this movie, I don't know what the backstory is, but I like that sequence. I like that story element. And I just thought she was wonderful in this scene. I really like this scene. What you want, it seemed like you're itching to say something about this scene.
Oh yeah. I have a totally different read on that scene.
Okay,
so what
great.
You're describing is exactly what happens in the original, like in the story that we believe Homer wrote down and then Bard sang about for like hundreds of years. And then eventually it gets rewritten down and somehow passed down to us, even though there's like, of all the 500,000 or whatever books in the Library of Alexandria, only 136 writers from the ancient Greek have complete works that have passed down to us. Like the shock and awe that this thing even lasted to reach to us is amazing. But in the original, that's exactly what happens. She is like manipulating him and wants to keep him around, and he eventually frees himself. Okay. I would suggest actually what we're seeing here is she has kept him there partly for obsession, but also partly to help him heal. This is a guy that we'll find out more. He has, as everybody does, and both in real life, but also particularly in contemporary films, has trauma. He's got some trauma. And so he's basically been self-medicating with her help. And it's sort of like the relationship from Memento, where he's battling back and forth with himself, and she's there and she's supporting him, and she kind of wants him to remember, but he's not sure if he wants to really remember all the mistakes he's made, all of the things that he's been a part of, or even maybe not the mistakes he's made, but the things that he's witnessed as somebody that saw the ransacking, the pillaging of Troy.
It's fascinating because I don't know the text. I didn't go in, I didn't reread this poem or anything like that. So what I'm interpreting on the scene is actually, you said from what was originally intended, it's actually how I perceived it though. So it's interesting because I did perceive it that way. I wasn't bringing anything to it. I perceived it that way. I saw it as a more malicious thing of her. I think it's just because, I saw it as a different angle. And now, again, that's the thing I love about films and how they're so subjective, because you could bring your own life experiences, things that happen to you or things that you perceive of happening to how you view a film. And so I saw her maliciously of like, oh no, but we are happy. Like, and the fact, you know what I mean? So I didn't see it as she was helping him heal. I saw it as that she was just allowing her to take him as long as she could, and then finally started regretting it and allowing him to remember his past. So that's really fascinating. That's what I love about films. So the two things that I loved is the monsters in this film. And there's a few sequences, but like, I really like the Cyclops scene. I thought, and I feel like there's been different takes on the Cyclops scene. I actually really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was really creepy when he was, eating men one by one, the way that they shot the cave with the fire and the shadows, and it was very creepy and eerie. Was kind of annoyed that Odysseus like was so arrogant to like, hit him on the way out, or what did he do when he was like?
He shot an arrow at him.
Yeah,
everybody had escaped.
What an a-hole.
He needed to shoot an arrow at him.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? Why? And obviously, I didn't know that because again, didn't know the text going into this that he was Poseidon's son. So I'm like, oh, Poseidon's going to make it so hard for them. You think Poseidon would have made it a little bit harder for them? Like, I mean, he has the ocean; he could really make them drown right away. But whatever. But anyway. I really liked the sequence. I thought it was really atmospheric and haunting, and I threw up my hands in my mouth. It was really awe-inducing scene. I know some people haven't perceived it that much differently, but I really liked the scene. And I also like the scene with there's that other monster that eats them later, the sea
Charybdis.
monster.
Yes. You're caught between Scylla and Charybdis.
Exactly. I like that sequence too. Not as much as the Cyclops scene, because Cyclops scene was very eerie. But what did you think of those two sequences?
So the Cyclops sequences, the Cyclops and the Sirens are, for anybody that read the myth growing up. Sorry, anybody. I don't know. People glob on to different things.
Yeah.
For me, the two that I remembered from the Odyssey, not from the Iliad, was the Cyclops and was the Sirens. And so the Cyclops was pure joy to see it done so well, so organically. The eye, because it's always the question is how you're going to do the eye. And he basically does it where the eye is sideways and the nose is like sort of super creepy. And also you feel it's sort of pathetic. Like you feel kind of bad for this thing. But it does start eating people, so
After it ate the, I was like, oh, what a horror! Like this is horrifying. And of course, let's get out of it, and let's get out of it with the eye. But when he hurt him, and he was kind of sad,
he was like whimpering,
sweetie pie. I actually felt bad for him. That's why I was like, why did you have to hurt him all the way out? That was so mean. So, yeah. Anyway,
no.
I would never survive any of these films because I would always be tricked into anything. It's like, there would be like this witch trying to be a nice person. I'm like, oh, you need help, whatever you need. Oh, I'm dead. And like everything, I'll always like, I'm sure this time you're different. And then I would die. But anyway, cool. So the other thing that I, performance wise really responded to is Hamish Patel. Which is interesting because I think in the text, because I was looking at it this morning, reading more about it, he's supposed to be like a coward, I guess, in the text and stirring up trouble. I feel like they made him, and maybe this is not how it's supposed to be perceived, but I perceived it as he kind of was keeping him in check, that he was smarter than Odysseus, which I don't know if he's supposed to be that in the text, but his performance, speaking of magnetism, I feel like he was the star of this film. Every time he was on, I was immediately locked in. He's also so dreamy in this movie. I never knew I had a thing for him until this movie. I was like, hi, Hamish Patel. Anyway, off topic, but he's so good in this movie. Like I was like, yeah, let me fight side by side for you. He had so much presence. I really loved him in this film. And I feel like he is nomination worthy as well. What did you think of him?
No, I think that's a really great call. I think he's loyal, but he's not blind. And I think there probably is a component of this story where it's like Odysseus, through much of his journey, was causing other people to suffer by making mistakes or not communicating, or just the normal things that people do when they're trying to lead others. And I think Patel is like a stand-in. Like if it had been like a different decade, it might have been played by like almost like a Tom Hanks. Like it's an everyman role where it's a loyal, trustworthy person. But this is somebody that also is been to war and is not going to watch all of his men die. And so he's caught on the other side of a lot of Odysseus's moral dilemmas or moral compromises or whatever. And so he's just he's trying to deal with this very tricky, slippery, essentially a con man. He's not played so much as a con man in the movie. He's played more as like a wise, practical person that makes mistakes. I think in the book, he's more of like a trickster almost.
Yeah.
The book. In Myth, he's more of a trickster. But I think nonetheless, sorry, I'm mulling this over because I hadn't put my finger on that. I think you're 100% correct, and I didn't notice that.
Because to me, he came off as more of the heart and soul of like this Odyssey. Like he is the one that's like, hey man, that's not cool. We shouldn't have done this, and we should do this, and looking out for the men. But
he's the one that you care about because the rest of the men are kind of cannon fodder. Look, here's the challenge. Here's my interpretation of why it's always the final girl and not the final guy is because men are cannon fodder. If you are in a horror movie and you're a male and you get killed, it's your fault. You should have done better. It's not like there has to be somebody. It's a trick to be the guy that's in the gang or in the pack, in the whatever the military unit's called. Like it's hard to be the guy that you care about if something bad happens, and he pulls that off.
He does. Like I immediately did care about him, and I felt like he was, and I think it made sense. Like there's that one sequence where he was just like, how come you didn't tell us this sea monster was going to kill us? But he's like, yeah, but if you went down this, this other way, we all would have died in this whirlpool or whatever. So he had to he had to be not truthful. Odysseus had to not be truthful with them. But I get where he's like immediately is like, yeah, but for him, it's like, again, Terminator 2, very John Connor. We can't lose one man, but it's like, I don't care. Like we shouldn't have lost. We lost 6 men, but instead of, all of the men, but it's like every person counts. Like you could see he really cared about his crew and was upset that anybody died. Not, he wasn't thinking, the what is it? The measures outweighs the, oh my gosh, what's the quote from Spock? I cannot think of it all of a sudden. Anyway.
The ends justify the means? Is that what he says?
Well, no, it's I don't know. It's really embarrassing. I can't think of this quote right now. But,
let's just hope this doesn't happen to me during the Becky quiz. That's all I'm saying. I hope I don't. I really want to get a constant reader, or what is it? What was?
Oh yeah, she had constant reader status.
And then it was what? Apex Predator, like ape Supreme or something. Supreme Ape or something.
He didn't get Ape Supreme, by the way.
He didn't. That. He came close though. You made it harder. You made it harder for
Julia,
for our good friend Martin. No. The game was harder for Julia.
Martin had to get a perfect score.
Martin had to get a perfect score to get Ape Supreme.
He did.
But Julia just needed to get like the top. Not just. Those questions were hard. I'm a Stephen King aficionado, but you went for like some deep cut old short stories where you had to figure out if it was between Night Shift or Skeleton Crew, which is tricky because those two definitely do bleed in together. So
and both were Skeleton Crew, and so funny. We're like, look, I love how the Becky challenge is becoming lore. We're seeping into our Odyssey review. Wait. It's like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Oh my God. I swear to God, if you're on YouTube right now, you can see, maybe not on audio. I did not look that up. It came to me.
Well, he has the trolley
My Star Trek mind is like, nope, you have to remember Wrath of Khan, put it in Becky's brain. So it did come out. I did not look it up.
I mean, Matt Damon has the trolley problem, but the thing is, he's an actual leader. He's an actual person that is responsible for the lives of others. And some of the people in his crew are just like, I'm kind of a leader, but like, I just want us to do the right thing. And Matt Damon's like, I've lost men. Like if my town needs to have a draft, I'm going to make sure that not everybody gets drafted and the rest of the people can hide so that we sacrifice the minimum amount of people on this vainglorious expedition. Like he's a person who has genuine practical, like genuinely wants the best for his people, but knows that there's real trade-offs. Mm-hmm. And he picks up a few scars because of that. He's filled with regret at the end, and it's funny because I'm not entirely sure how much of the regret is his fault. He was fighting for a side. He had no choice but to fight for that side, and he had no choice but to fight to win. Like yes, the pillage of Troy, just like the Battle of Jericho or the Punic Wars, or just literally go on until like the wars of today are typically one-sided and people are slaughtered and it's horrifying. But like, he has no choice. If you're going to do that, you should probably try to win, and you should probably try to not lose. And so the guilt that he has at the end when he's facing off against the suitors finally, which again, spoiler alert, like, this story is 3,200 years old. You should know how it ends. It's called the Odyssey. He doesn't die. I'm sorry, people. But like, when he faces off against the suitors at the end, he's like filled with all this guilt about the things that he's done. I'm like, no. None of this is your fault. You just gotta do your job at this point. And yeah, he's then he does his job. And it's funny because then at that point, I'm like, now you might want to feel guilty about some of this stuff. This is a little over the top. You're killing a whole lot of people here. I'm sure you could have gotten away with killing just like a few of them. Yeah. But you wanted the whole thing. Like, that's a little different.
Robert Pattinson's character is so smarmy. He's so smarmy in this film. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just the payoff of these people being not nice to beggars and dogs, and they're like, they're going to get their due at the end of this film. Maybe.
So for everybody listening to this podcast, Becky, I'm very political. Becky has her own politics, but she doesn't talk about that stuff. So I'm not going to talk politics. But here's what I'm going to say. I would like anybody that has seen this film to Google any politicians that sound like this. A dog-hating, rich brat, draft dodger who gets off on hating poor wanderers or refugees. Just Google, just see if you can find any equivalent. By the way, so this character, Antinius, I don't even know. I'm assuming he's in the original. I don't know. None of the suitors like jump off the page as memorable villains. But definitely none of that stuff that I described, other than the mistreating old men and like the poor. None of that is in the original. Like, that is, so if anybody thinks that I'm like, which first of all, I feel like you haven't really seen Christopher Nolan's films if you think political subtext is like, I'm making it up. But this is not in the original. This is very much like a Christopher Nolan special. He wrote the movie, he filmed the movie. So yeah, I will just leave it at that.
Christopher Nolan special. I love it. And I actually didn't catch that, but that seems very spot on.
Which, remember, the person who died bravely was Elliot Page.
Yeah.
So
great performance.
An extra special screw you. From Christopher Nolan. And Christopher Nolan's basically like, if this movie ruins my career, I'm good with that. Like, if I have to go sail off in the distance, chase the horizon, like, I'm fine. I said my piece. But I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
No.
This movie is we were recording this the Saturday after the film came out. We don't know box office numbers, but right now it's projected to be, I think, have a global opening of 257 million, maybe 258 million. It might crush it and be 300. People might be seeing more and more of it in the next day or so. That's just the projections. We don't know. And this episode will come out on Tuesday, and the box office numbers will be out. But the audience I was with was loving this film, really loved it. I think that'll have great word of mouth. And yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect movie. There are things with it. I really liked I thought the ending was satisfying. I liked, it was very romantic. I loved, like I said, just some of the shots at the end with the horse and the embers. And then that line about our mistakes will be forgotten. I thought also kind of tied into history of like, we're going to doom to repeat ourselves. I thought of it that way of that's what they were saying. Not that their mistakes would be forgotten, like all is healed. I more thought, oh my gosh, where history is going to repeat itself. But I thought I really liked the ending. It worked for me. And I think that's why, again, maybe as one of those people that like, what if a movie is not consistently like over just blown you away, if the ending gets you, then I felt like everything sort of came together at the end. And I really, really was very joyous getting out of there. But yeah, the film, I think had a lot of complicated characters. I also feel like acting wise, I got my heart kind of leapt when I saw Mia Goth. I didn't know she was in the movie. I was bummed. I don't think she was fleshed out very well. I was really bummed that she didn't have a great, I don't think it was because of her performance. I don't think she did the best she could do with what she had. I don't think there was much to her character. So I was bummed she didn't have more. I like Lupita Nyong'o and Benny Safdie. You don't see him through the whole movie. He's covered up pretty much the whole film. So I can't really, he seemed like he had presence. Tom Holland, I think he's thrives as Peter Parker, maybe not so much in this film. But I love him, but not, I don't know how much he worked for me in this film. But those are like all of my thoughts that I think in one way. Do you have any like closing thoughts or anything that we didn't get to that you want to talk about before we move on to the Becky Challenge?
No, it's time to move on to the Becky Challenge. So I'll try to keep my final thoughts really fast. One, to your point on Mia Goth, and you mentioned Lupita Nyong'o, who plays both Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships, which Menelaus says, even though I believe that's a quote from Christopher Marlowe, not from Homer. So that was a fun little intertextual little Easter egg for you nerds out there. But no, so Lupita Nyong'o, like the Oresteia is an epic 4-play or a 3-play like masterpiece that it gets like 2 minutes in this film. It feels like, given the stars that they had and given like everything that we saw on screen for just a few seconds, it feels like this movie could have been 6 hours long. Like if this had been Dune, they'd have split it up into like 3 parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they left a lot in the cutting room floor. I'm really curious if they're going to do some director's version that's going to have way more side quests.
Would you be down for that if that was like a miniseries instead, or a 3-part film? Or
I would love to. What I wish there was like an Oresteia movie that was coming out from it. Like I would love to see Benny Safdie as Agamemnon and whoever they have as Orestes and Lupita Nyong'o and all that stuff. Like I would love that. That would be awesome. And the second thing I'll say is, we have one of the things that was more in the beginning of the movie and it doesn't really show back up until the very end of the movie is this idea that Nolan's talking about like the importance of myths and how once we lose myths, how much we lose. And he's been pretty vocal about wanting to minimize the impact of artificial intelligence on the filmmaking process, and that really art is something that, like, shocker here, art is something that human beings should make. And I really like that really catches with me. And I'm going to read something not from Homer. I'm going to read something from Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Love it.
So this is how we're going to end this off. And
I love this.
Very dramatic. And this is part of what I found moving about the film. And I wish it had been more of this and a little bit less of, like I said, some of the exposition, which felt a little heavy-handed. The foregoing generations beheld God and nature face to face, we through their eyes. Why should not we also enjoy an original relation to the universe? And then it goes on and says, let us demand our own works and laws and worship. And I think that's part of what Nolan, truly, I think that's part of what Nolan is trying to do here, is to bring back the mythic to filmmaking. And, it's not perfect. It didn't need to be. It needed to be mythic, and I think he succeeded at that.
I think so too. Let us know what you guys think of the film after you hear this episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I know I have so many friends that are seeing it multiple times. Would love to see if it's even more rewarding on multiple views. I may see it again maybe if I want to see it at the AMC Universal, maybe just to get like the ultimate experience. But beyond that, I'm not sure I'm going to seek it out again. It's funny when I think about the films that like really floor me. Sometimes I was thinking about this is No Sentimental Value by Joachim Trier. So like that film, I was like shaking people when I got out of it because I was so in love with it, a recent film. So like, that's the thing.
We're Bergman heads. We're Bergman heads. Of course we're going to love Sentimental Value.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So you guys know, on the YouTube listeners, I always wear a shirt that's tailored to my guest. And I'm like, what am I going to wear for John? And I don't think you can even see. So I'm bringing it down. We have,
there it
Bergman,
is.
The Dance of Death.
Dance of Death. Yeah.
That's what I decided to wear for John today. Cause I was trying to think, I'm like, what do I wear? And then I'm like, oh, I'll wear a Bergman shirt. And you're wearing Viva Stella, which we were together for. We love Tony Stella. And, it's so crushing that we lost him this year, but definitely we'll always honor him. And actually do you know that I have a Winter Light, a print that he gave me behind me? Can you see it on YouTube right now?
Oh, that's it. That's his. That's awesome.
He sent me that print. I don't think he's ever sold a print for Winter Light. He sent that to me and I got it professionally framed. It's one of the, my most prized possessions that Tony sent me. Yeah, it's gorgeous. So I have it on my, Tony is always here on my YouTube video. And while we're recording, he's overlooking my shoulder next to a film that he loved and I loved, Terminator 2. Anyway, great. So we'll get to
Becky
the Becky
Challenge time.
It's Becky Challenge time. We'll get to the Becky Challenge right after this. All right, we're back. We're ready for the Becky Challenge, which is called Final Jeopardy. We're doing it, John.
Should I bring over my Alex Trebek bobblehead?
Yes. Yeah. You need it. You're going to need it for this. Go get it. And then we'll get ready here. Oh, I love it. Oh, you haven't taken it out of the box. Oh, wait till he gets his earphones back on. You haven't gotten it? You've never taken it out of the box?
No, of course not. You and I are the same in that we both love props. I love a good prop. I got a pile of books over here. I got Night Shift in case you ask me any sneaky Stephen King questions. I meant to get a Pepsi.
So wait, this is so funny. So I got this water bottle. This is for on YouTube. I'm holding up a Pepsi water bottle. So it looks like I'm drinking Pepsi, but I'm not. I was at WonderCon, so not this year, but 2025 with my friend Paul, who's going to be on. He's already part of the canon for this show because I mentioned him on the Toy Story episode. He's the one that helped me me get lots. So, but I was with him at WonderCon 2 years ago, and I wanted this water bottle. I'm like, should I get this? He's like my personal influencer. He's always like getting me into stuff and like convincing me to do stuff. And he's like, you need to get it. Yes, get it. So I just thought, you know what? When I drink water on my show, I'm going to drink it out of this Pepsi water bottle. So it looks like I'm drinking Pepsi, but just so you know, Pepsi's always here with me. All right, let's get into the Becky Challenge. All right, John, I'm going to do my little intro. All right, John, I've always thought you have one of the most incredible trivia brains of anyone I've ever met. You've competed on The Chase. You've competed on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And I know one of your lifelong dreams is to stand behind a podium on Jeopardy. So today, I'm making that dream come true. Welcome to Final Jeopardy. Go ahead.
I was going to do the song, but I think you're going to get flagged on YouTube if I do the Jeopardy song, so I'm not going to do it.
This challenge celebrates everything that makes your brain so much fun. We've got movie trivia, general knowledge, Greek mythology, and a few curveballs worthy of the toughest quiz shows on television. Get enough right, and you'll officially become a trivia titan. Get too many wrong, and you'll have to answer in the form of a question forever.
Trivia Titan, that's perfect. It's both trivia and Greek mythology.
I love that you clicked on that. Yes. So I created it just for that. So I love that you appreciate it. Okay, there are 25 questions. There are 5 rounds. Each round has 5 questions. Sometimes we have a lightning round that's like 9, but we're not doing that. We're doing 5 questions per round. So the first round, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
At my scorecard. All right. The first round, 5 questions. It's called At the Movies. All right. Number 1, which film won the Academy Award for Best Picture at the very first Academy Awards?
Oh, thank God you gave me one that I know. I'm so nervous after that pump up because like Julia, by the way, has been on 3 game shows. That wasn't even like her main shtick, and she's been on more game shows than me. It's Wings, right?
It is Wings, but you know that because Julia you guys have checked out the Evil Dead episode because Julia, we challenged her to Stephen King trivia. Did you see how we talked about how she won a trivia night all by herself as a team of one?
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's crazy.
I don't doubt it. She's podcasted about it. She's read every novel and all the short stories. She's directed a film by Stephen King, like a Stephen King short story.
Yeah, and I still stumped her.
She has like all the VHSs.
Can I say that I still stumped her, and that'll be something that I will cherish forever?
She was not happy about it, by the way. She played it off like, oh, it's just, I didn't, but she was not happy. And I was like, this is going to happen to me. So I'm ready for it.
Okay. Yeah. And just so you know, no one's ever got a perfect score. Maybe today will be the day.
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm waiting for someone to get the perfect score. Okay, ready. Right. Number 2. All right. Ready? Ingmar Bergman won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film 3 times. Can you name 2 of the 3 winning films?
Oh, shoot.
Come on, Bergman.
This is funny. I've actually won a membership at Lincoln Center by knowing this.
Oh, I remember that.
And I no longer know this. Okay, so
2 of the 3 winning films.
Okay, so I'm gonna go one at a time because if I just get the first one wrong, then I'm not even gonna struggle my brain. So I'm gonna go with Wild Strawberries.
Wrong.
Okay, so there we go. Hold my card.
Do you know any of them? Do you want to try or you're? No,
I don't know.
Right.
I know that it's not Persona, which is crazy because like, how does Persona not win Best International Film? It's not Fanny and Alexander. It is
Fanny and Alexander.
Oh, Fanny and Alexander did win.
Yeah.
Did Virgin Spring won?
Yes. See, it's your brain's getting it for you, but
was Winter Light the other one?
No, I wish, but it is one in the religious trilogy.
Silence?
No.
Through a Glass Darkly?
There's one left. There's only one left.
I was gonna say Through a Glass Darkly, son of a jerk.
It's okay. You can cuss if you want. All right. Number 3. I got Julie on second question too. Oh no, you're in good company.
You threw me a softball because you're like, obviously he's going to know the Ingmar Bergman one. That's why you said 2. And it doesn't matter because I got the first one wrong anyway. So
I know I gave you 2 or 3. Come on, man. Yeah. All right, number 3. Number 3. What was the first feature-length animated film ever released?
Oh, that's going to be Snow White.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. Yeah. And the Seven Dwarfs, but
the Seven Dwarfs.
Say that. Yeah. All right.
You can prompt me. You can prompt me.
No, it's okay.
I would have filled that in. That's what they do on Jeopardy. If you say it and you don't say enough of it, they're like prompt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ken Jennings will prompt you.
Okay. Number 4. Which Best Picture winner features the famous line, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore"?
Is that Network?
Yes.
Network. I obviously know the line, but I did not know Network won Best Picture.
Yeah. Well, did I get that wrong? Maybe I'll look that.
I mean, it's totally possible. I don't know. No. I haven't memorized all the Best Pictures.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Maybe I got this wrong. I think maybe I got it wrong. Oh my God.
It doesn't matter. I got it right. That's what's really important here. I'm now 3 for 4, so I'm not going to be a banana.
You're right.
A banana collector.
It was nominated and it didn't win. Oh my God. I should come up with another question for you.
No, you can give me the one that I got right. I'm good.
I love though. You should get bonus points because I don't know.
That's true. Ooh, no. I should erase the one that I got wrong.
Well, I don't know about that.
I'm just kidding.
No, but oh my God, you got me. Oh my God, it's the first time I messed up. I'm so embarrassed. All right. Number 5. Who directed Lawrence of Arabia?
David Lean.
Yes. So you got 4 out of 5 in that round.
It's
with
funny
my
because I
botched
always start off with
questions.
the wrong answer. Like I was like, no Coward. No Coward and David Lean did a lot of movies together, but no. Yeah.
So the year that Network lost, it lost to Rocky. All right. I am so embarrassed that I somehow got that wrong. Okay. So round 2 is general trivia.
Hit
Ready?
me.
Number 6. What is the only planet in our solar system that rotates on its side?
Oh, Uranus.
Yes.
Because it's got the weird rings. Like the rings are in a different direction, like a different axis than the other planets.
Yeah. All right. Number 7, general trivia. Which country has the longest coastline in the world?
So I think if you include the fjords, because like Norway has all these like weird jagged fjords, I think some people say Norway, but Chile has such a long coastline. I don't know. I'm going to go with my original wrong answer. I'm going to go with Norway.
I have Canada.
Yeah, that's way more right. Sorry, that was a dumb answer. That is a way more correct answer. Significantly larger, and it's good. Yeah, you know what?
All right, number 8. Wait, 1 second. So, all right, number 8. What is the capital of New Zealand?
So I've been to Auckland, I've been to Queenstown, and obviously Christchurch got destroyed in that thing, but none of those are the capital. It's Wellington.
Yes. Amazing. All right, number 9. Who wrote The Count of Monte Cristo?
Dumas Père. As opposed to Fee, which you have to know in Jeopardy. It comes up all the time.
Wait, really?
Yeah. There's a father and a son. Both are named Alexander Dumas, and you call it Père or Fee.
Oh, God, that's badass. All right. 1 second. You have one more question in this round. How many hearts does an octopus have?
I think it's 3.
That's right. Amazing. All right, 4 out of 5 in that round.
Just 3 more than I have.
All right, round 3.
3 more hearts than I have. Yes, round 3. I love that you keep track on a piece of paper. This makes me very happy. It's very practical because with 25 questions, it'd be very easy to forget.
Oh, yeah. But oh my gosh, I was a disaster on you should listen to the Masters of the Universe episode with Jamie. We did it in person. And I had to be like, dance. Like I had to make him just like go because I was calculating as we were on set into the camera. And it was just crazy. Like I had to just have him just riff because I had to count. And then there was the first few episodes, I kept getting the calculations wrong and like the score was off. And so I had to work on my addition. I'm like, I have to go back to school here. But anyway, I've gotten through it, except this was the first. You've gotten the first trivia world. Let's see. I hope I'm not finished, but I've never messed up before. And it's really embarrassing that my question was wrong, but I love that you caught it and you still got it right. All right. This section is called The Odyssey. 5 questions. Question 11, who wrote The Odyssey?
This is controversial. The answer is Homer, but it is controversial.
That is what I have. All right. Number 12. What is the name of Odysseus's wife?
Penelope.
Yeah. Question 13. Which Cyclops does Odysseus outwit?
Oh, God. It's funny. So they never say his name in the movie. And I was thinking this during this episode. I was like, oh, shoot. I didn't even, I don't remember what his name was. Can I pull this from the deep recesses of my medulla oblongata?
If you're on YouTube right now, you see both of his hands are next to his brain. So he's definitely not looking this up.
This is amazing podcasting. I don't remember his name. No Man. That's it. So No Man is what in the book Odysseus. He's like the Cyclops is like, "What's your name?" He's like, "I'm No Man." So then when the Cyclops gets blinded, he yells to all his neighbors. He goes, "No man has blinded me," and they all laugh at him. It's silly. I'm going to say No Man. That's not the right answer.
I'll still give it to you wrong, but it starts with a P. Does that help?
Feistro or something like that. I don't know.
It's Polyphemus.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Pull the knife out of my missing heart. One of my 3 hearts. Brutal.
I'm sorry to get a laugh when you said 3 more hearts than I have. I did.
It's okay. It's all
right.
My jokes are desperate.
No, I love your jokes. You're always getting me to laugh.
I'm trying to distract from the questions I'm getting wrong, Becky.
So locked in that I didn't catch it at first. All right, number 14. 2 more in the Odyssey route. Which goddess repeatedly helps Odysseus throughout his journey?
So, it's Athena. It's my favorite of the Greek goddesses, of the Greek gods.
Why?
Goddess of wisdom and also the goddess of war. So she combines both, but she's more of a goddess of just war as opposed to Ares, who is a god of just, like war because you're a dumbass.
I didn't know that there were like a female and male version of some of these of like war.
Well,
is this the only one, or do all of them? Or
no, so some of them have siblings. So like Apollo and Artemis are siblings.
Okay.
But actually, it's a good point. This is the only one where like they have 2 versions that's sort of the god of the same thing, I believe. Although Aphrodite is the mother of Cupid.
Okay, that makes sense.
Eros. So there is a male-female version, but really, no, I think this is the only one.
Okay. Well, good. I don't feel like that's a stupid question then. Good. All right. Last question in the Odyssey round. What name does Odysseus tell Polyphemus is his own?
No Man. So I got at least one of them right. One of the hard ones.
I like that's happened before where like somebody's answered a question that is a trivia question later.
Oh yeah, so, Julia's like, wait, I literally just said this, and you're like, yeah, I know, but I still gotta ask the question.
I love how you like know this episode by heart. Okay, you've gotten 1 wrong in each of the rounds, so you've gotten 3 wrong so far. Now we're on to the last 2 rounds, and this is lightning round. So this round is called Myth or Legend. So I'm going to give you the name of a person, place, or object, and you tell me who or what it's associated with. Ready?
Sure.
Mount Olympus.
The Greek gods. The home of the Greek gods. I wanted to live there when I was a kid.
Aw, so cute. All right, number 17. Trojan horse.
So that's with the Iliad or the Trojan Wars. The Greeks, they left the Trojan horse and was brought into Troy, and then Odysseus and his men slipped out. And yeah, that was in the movie.
Do you know the name of the mascot for USC football?
It's the Trojans.
The Trojans isn't the mascot. The mascot is the horse. Do you know the name of the horse?
I don't. Is that an official question, or is this a side quest?
This is a side question.
Okay.
This does not count. I was just curious.
No, you should do Becky trivia on one of them. The Becky challenge, and the topic is Becky.
And Jamie, on the second episode, he was like, you should quiz people on Becky and James' song.
Who invented, and what was Pepsi originally called? It's Brad's drink, right? That's what it was originally called?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if that's Becky trivia, but yeah. So it's not trivia about me. It's the stuff that I like.
It should just be an entire 25 questions. You should bring your husband on and be like, you are getting Becky trivia.
I don't know how well he'll do on that. All right. Number 18, Mjolnir.
That's Thor's hammer. Even like just a Marvel fan knows that.
You know what? I forgot to look up how to say that, and I don't know if I said it right.
It seems right to me.
Okay,
I
cool.
don't know either, but I think the J is silent.
All right. Two
like
more
a Y.
in the lightning round. Minotaur.
Okay, so Minotaur is also Minotaur is in the Labyrinth, and that is also Greek myth, and it's associated with, I think it's Theseus and Ariadne. No, yeah, I think it's Ariadne.
I had the Labyrinth of Crete, but yeah.
The Labyrinth.
And also it's somebody's handle on Twitter.
Hollywood Minotaur.
Yeah. Do you know where that's from? That's Becky Trivia. Where did I get Minotaur from?
I feel like I've heard the story and I've forgotten it.
It's Radiohead. It's a Radiohead symbol from the album Amnesiac. That's a good. So that would be a good Becky Trivia for actually about Becky. All right. One more in lightning round. Myth or legend. Thetis. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I should have looked it up how to say it.
Yeah. So Thetis is also Greek myth, but Thetis is Apollo's mom.
I have it being a mom of somebody else, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, is it hold on. Is it Achilles' mom?
Yes. So are Apollo and Achilles
They are not the same at all.
Okay.
I don't know if Thetis, because I know she was divine and she I would say I didn't get that right.
Really?
I don't
So I was gonna give it to you. No?
I'll take it.
I shouldn't.
I'll take it.
You know what? That makes up for my network thing. All right. Bonus round, Final Jeopardy, 5 questions. What does the word, then there goes the sirens, because this is it. This is ready. Okay, 21. New York.
I'm
sirens.
in New York. Yeah, I'm surprised there haven't been more sirens.
This is your soundtrack to your life. All right, 21. What does the word Odyssey mean today?
Oh, it's like a journey or a trek. It's a long trip that might have challenges or obstacles or whatever.
Yeah, I have long journey or adventure. You got that right. 4 more questions and we are done. Which Greek hero solved the riddle of the Sphinx?
Oedipus.
Badass. Yes.
Oedipus. Yeah, good job on the Sphinx. He made a few other boo-boos along the way.
Okay. 3 more questions. Question 23. Which Greek hero completed the 12 labors?
Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules.
All right. 2 more questions. Which famous library of the ancient world was located in Egypt?
Already referenced. Library of Alexandria.
Wait, you mentioned it earlier?
Yeah, because just the sheer the sheer challenge of having a work, like a Greek work, reach us today over thousands of years is evidenced by the fact that I think the Library of Alexandria had 500,000 books in it. I might have I hope I don't have the scale too wrong. It might be like 250 or something like that, but I think it was 500,000. Mm-hmm. And there are only, I looked this up the other day, there are only 136 authors from the ancient Greek world that have extant works. Extant complete works, right?
Okay.
So you can read the entire book. So much of it was destroyed in the fire of the Library of Alexandria, just people not maintaining them, copying them, etc., which is referenced, by the way, at the end of the Odyssey, when Matt Damon talks about there's going to come a time where men do not read and write, and they're going to have to sing songs.
Nice. All right. Last question in this game, in the Becky Challenge. Which mythological figure flew too close to the sun?
My boy Icarus.
Yeah. So you got 3 wrong, which makes you 22 out of 25.
So I'm definitely not a constant read. I might be a constant reader, but I'm not an ape supreme.
Well, we will read these to you.
Yeah, let's see what they are.
We'll do the scorecard. All right, ready? All right, rankings. 0 to 5, Lost at Sea. 6 to 10, Deckhand. 11 to 15, First Mate. 16 to 20, Captain. 21 to 25, Trivia Titan. So you, Jon Laubinger, got Trivia Titan. Congratulations. So it's a very similar ranking system to
Julia's.
Julia's. Very incredibly hard. So if you did get that one wrong, which you said, don't give it to me, you still would have got Trivia Titan, by the way.
Thank God.
This is a landmark episode in that I not only messed up in the trivia, I got a movie trivia question wrong.
This is a landmark. People are going to be talking about this for decades.
This is so embarrassing. But you know what? I'm not infallible. I can make mistakes too. So great. So Jon, thanks so much for coming on our show to talk Audience Odyssey. It was so epic to do this with you. And I'm so happy that I finally got you on my show, and I do want you back. Again, we did talk about you doing Ice Cream Man, but it didn't work out because of the timing. And actually, I think we're not even going to do Ice Cream Man anymore. We're going to pivot because we decided to do another film that week. But can you tell folks where to find you?
Oh, yeah, you can't find me. I'm basically a ghost. I'm so lucky. My life is so full. I used to be like on all the social media. I'm still kind of on the social media, but honestly, you can't even find me. Unfortunately, I'm not podcasting as much, but thank you so much for having me on thank you so much for doing the podcast, because it's like I get to visit my old friends again. And it's really making me miss all of the podcasts that I haven't been following up as much. And I haven't been able to see as many movies recently as I had been. Once we stopped doing director's take. And, but now it's like, I get to hang out with my old friends again, listening to this podcast, and it makes me want to go to the movies more, which I think it is no small coincidence that you start your podcast this year. And this is the best year for cinema in terms of people going to the movies and plopping down their hard-earned money to buy a ticket.
I'm contributing to the box office, not these extraordinary filmmakers that were so lucky to be alive at the time they're making these great movies. But no, it's actually, it couldn't have been more fate, that we have so many. I think the first 5 episodes I did, I loved every single film, which was like unprecedented. Like I loved every film that we covered, and that doesn't happen that often where I'm like gushing about a movie. At one point I was like, oh my God, I have to cover a movie that I don't love because it's going to look like I love every movie. And now I've had a string of episodes where I did not like the movie or didn't love it. This one was very much, I did enjoy this film. It's not like Disclosure Day, gonna make my top 10 list, gushing, loved it. But I did enjoy this movie. I do think it's worth seeing. And I'm so happy that it exists. I'm happy that Christopher Nolan exists, that I think he's an extraordinary filmmaker. I think he made, this was an amazing cinematic achievement that he made. And I'm glad that it was made. I didn't personally like I said, it's not a 5-star film for me, but 4 stars is pretty good for both of us, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad you are making this podcast, and I'm glad you had me on. I can't wait to come back on, but I'm definitely going to catch up on the movies that I haven't seen, and some of the picks that you guys had in your top 10. When you guys did the top 5 of the first half of the year, you and Martin, but your 10 combined movies, some of them I hadn't even heard of before, particularly Martin, but that's classic Martin right there.
So Martin.
I thank you for helping keep cinema alive, Becky.
Aw, so sweet. Thank you. So sweet. Yeah, we're trying to drive people to go to the movies. So, this podcast is about celebrating movies that are in the theater. So I love that. So, if you want to follow the show, we're at Hanging with Becky on Instagram and Blue Sky, and we're Hang with Becky on Twitter and Letterboxd. Yes, we have our own Letterboxd account. Please follow it. And then if you want to follow me, I'm at the Becky Deanna on Instagram and Hollywood Minotaur on pretty much all the other platforms, Twitter, Blue Sky, Letterboxd. And so thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think of Odyssey. We'll be back next week with a very special presentation. It is, we teased it before, it'll be a pilot that Adam Rackoff and I did 6 years ago called The Movie Insiders. It's my personal Hollywood insider story of working on Terminator Salvation. I'm hoping people will reevaluate the film, but even if you didn't like Terminator Salvation, or maybe you're not interested in that movie, it's a fascinating look at what it's like as a movie studio marketing executive, which I was, to work on a movie, on a franchise that I was in love with. And you get a real insider peek on what we in the boardroom, what it's like to see multiple screenings about marketing a movie. I'm really proud of it. And so we're releasing it next week, because I will be at Comic-Con. So that I won't have time to record. So we thought that was perfect time to release the episode. And then the next week, we'll be back with another episode of Hanging with Becky, which will be Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I'm very, very excited about, with Mr. Kyle Reardon. Very excited about that. All right. So until then, go to the movies.